When we had last left Team Watcher, they were still traveling around the archives, reading a whole bunch of junk. There they found mysterious books, terrible librarians who were really angry and weren't having it at all, as well as enchanted armor that sprung to life and struck out at them for defiling their literary collections. And so, at long last, they finally made their way to a northeastern end of the archives. Yes, the quarantined section. A section befuddled by spores and fungal beasts and creeping blue tendrils all the same. What would wait for them in store here? Perhaps more books. This is I almost said the other thing. This is Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire, the Forgotten Sanctum. Welcome back. Let us unhide this. There we go. Oh, and activate that. There we are, yeah. Last time, we did also check out this dude and disarm their enchanted amulet that would make them spring to life just as well. Anyway, we got some more books here. Let's do some reading, huh? My god, I have not yet even begun to read. Good lord, you thought there was reading before? Guess again. The reading has only just begun. Let's see. As always, we should probably just read all of this nonetheless, right? Yeah. Because, you know, we may have some context going on. Also, as of the recording of this one, goodness, just in case you're watching this in the far-flung future, yo, Avowed got announced. Holy shit. Oh my god, that's really wild. Set in Aora. Good lord, if you haven't looked into it, if somehow that news went by you and you are watching this currently, look into Avowed. It's set in Aora. It's going to be wild. There's not a lot set in stone, but a lot of theories. And me, I'm contributing to them. I think it'll be set between War of Black Trees and War of Defiance. But I think there's also a lot of totally valid theories as to why it may not be in, like, maybe it'll be set in Adir. I've seen some convincing stuff saying that it might be set in the Living Lands, all that good stuff. A lot of interesting theory, right? Because they put just enough in that cinematic trailer to be clues to people who are familiar with the lore and all that, and the world, right? Very cool stuff. Definitely worth a watch. Although there's no gameplay, if you enjoy the world and story, lore, all that stuff, definitely give it a look because there's cool little hints of stuff like that. Anyway, let's continue on our journey here, reading about Erglonfoth, Part 1, Early Contact. The history of Erglonfoth before it was discovered by Adiran explorers is poorly documented, and oral accounts often conflict. Some tell stories of an advanced civilization that left, taking all its knowledge with it, leaving ruins of their civilization behind. Right, yeah, the Ingwithans. Why did the Ingwithans... Where did they go? Where did they go? That's a good question. Where'd they all go? Did they all, like, died and became soul energy, didn't they? I can't believe I've forgotten this. Or either I forgot this unbelievable fact, and I'm a dumbass, or they never really explain. Where'd they all go? Because we know certainly after the creation of the wheel, some of them here in the Deadfire at Ukaizo area went over to the Deerwood area, to Erglonfoth and all that. Huh. Good question. Alright. Others say the Glonfothans themselves developed such power and technology that they all but destroyed themselves, and that is why they will not allow anyone into the ruins on their land. Either way, reliable information about the area of Erglonfoth doesn't begin until Adiran explorers discovered it in 2602 AI. Maybe Glonfothans, some of them are descendants from, like, Ingwithan separatists who didn't agree with the current Ingwithan, what would you call it, path through the world, right, with all of their wild-ass animancy shit. Maybe they decide, like, you know what, maybe F that. Alright. The Glonfothans were not used to encounters with outsiders before, and viewed the intrusion on their land as something of a test. The ruins that covered their land were considered sacred, and these strangers, despite warnings, plundered them, taking artifacts. Glanfathans that resisted were captured and forced into slavery, becoming property of the new colonists. Their people, heritage, and land at stake, the Glanfathans struck back, hoping to drive them out of their lands permanently. Despite their best efforts, more Aediran invaders appeared. By 2623 AI, the Aedirans had established towns, pushing the Glanfathans out of some areas and enslaving any who refused to leave. They tried to live in peace, keeping an eye on the Aedirans, and with the exception of a few isolated incidents, it seemed to work. This tentative peace came to a bloody end in 2626 AI. A group of farmers, clearing a potential crop field in the middle of an area dotted with many sacred ruins, knocked down one of the ancient menhirs in this Broken Stone War. Whether this was intentional or accidental is not known, but this incident started what came to be known as the Broken Stone War. It was short, lasting less than a year, but it was bloody and brutal. Several thousand Aediran colonists died as well as hundreds of Glanfathans. Though the war ended, the attacks on the Aedirans didn't stop. An Orlan named Rejd was chosen as Galvan of the Glanfathans. He vowed to make every outsider pay for the injustices done on his people's land. He organized the Glanfathan Fangs and orchestrated a series of attacks over the course of the next 2 years. It seemed Rejd's tactics would eventually work and drive the Aedirans from Glanfath. But then, they started fighting back. They became far more organized, and their tactics less predictable. Fewer and fewer of Rejd's attacks succeeded. He discovered a new grave. Edrange Hadret had been appointed, someone whose tactics and battle savvy were more evenly matched with his. Eventually, both leaders came to a stalemate, neither able to gain the upper hand on the other. As a result of the stalemate, the hostilities between the two groups dwindled, as there was never a significant result for either side. This led to treaties, developed and signed by both to eliminate the violence and tension. Rejd stepped down as Galvan and returned to his life. Hadret set a decree. Looting the ruins of Glanfath is an arrestable offense. As a sign of goodwill, Hadret also tried to outlaw slavery, but this act was struck down by the other earls and the first king of Aedir. Because of this, some incidents of rural violence still cropped up. Hadret's treaties resulted in 20 years of relative peace for the Glanfathans, still wary and distrustful of the Aedirans, but willing to accept their presence if they had to. Right. Yeah, and I feel like, not to go back into my fun little 25-minute video, but I don't know, I feel like there's never been a better time to tell a story about colonialism fucking over indigenous people and the horrors of slavery and shit. Alright, Glanfath Part 2, Conflict and Unexpected Alliance. In 2652, everything started to deteriorate. It was uncovered that a number of ruin sites had been looted, and all signs pointed to the Aedirans breaking the treaty. Glanfathans held off judgment for as long as they could, but when the evidence became overwhelming, they retaliated with all the strength they could muster. Rejd, once again, took up the mantle of leadership and led his people against the Aedirans. Instead of facing Edrange Hadret again, this time Rejd crossed swords with Admeth Hadret, Edrange's son. Admeth proved to be just as, if not more, capable than his father, and used a tactic no Glanfathan expected. In order to clear out the battlefield and ensure there would be no place for troops to hide, Admeth set the entire forest on fire near the Ish-Uar River and blocked all retreating forces with his army. While some escaped the slaughter, most of the Glanfathan troops died. Rejd was captured in the mayhem and transferred to New Haemar for holding. While many more battles occurred, some of which resulted in Admeth using the same tactic, the Glonfathan forces were now disorganized and had lost their resolve. They were easily routed by the end of that same year. The War of the Black Trees, as it is now known, was over. In order to again repair relations between the two groups, Admeth introduced new laws restricting the taking of new slaves from Air Glonfath. The laws also gave Glonfathans the opportunity to buy their fellows out of bondage. While not entirely happy with the prospect of having to buy their countrymen who had already been free, the Glonfathans took this gesture as the goodwill it was, and ceased their hostilities again. 7 years passed with the Dyrwood under Admeth's control. The Glonfathans felt, for the first time, that true peace could return to their land. This peace led to what is likely the biggest treaty negotiations between Air Glonfath and the Dyrwood in its history. Admeth set into place the 10 Years Treaties, so named because it had been 10 years since the War of Black Trees. A timeline was set, and at the end of it all, Glonfathan slaves had to be released. The citizens of Air Glonfath watched the Dyrwood with a cautious hope. With the extended peace between the two peoples and these new treaties, they truly hoped conflict was a thing of the past. In 2665, Galvin Medra, an elven woman who had taken over for Regd, brought news to Admeth. Some Dyrwooden people were found taking artifacts from one of the tombs. Initial investigation uncovered several more that had already been plundered. As they seemed to be isolated incidents, it had stopped early. Medra did not want a war to start again after so long being at peace. Admeth was grateful for this courtesy and wasted no time tracking down who was responsible. Medra gave Admeth use of her Brishalgwyn mind hunters. Right, they would eventually be ciphers, who, in my wild-ass hot theory, is you're going to play as one of these in Avowed, right? And, with their help, found evidence pointing directly back to the First King. Admeth and Medra, now jointly allied against the Aediran First King, used everything at their disposal to prevent the First King's agents from getting into the ruins. In 2668 AI, when Admeth declared independence from Aedir to create the Free Palatinate of Dyrwood, the Glonfathans stood behind him, offering their support and troops. While the war didn't affect the Glonfathan people directly, there were casualties. In the end, the Dyrwooden people became free, and the bond between the two people was strengthened through their shared suffering. Admeth became a beloved ruler of the Dyrwood, known and respected by Dyrwoodens and Glonfathans alike. Very interesting. Alright. Let's store that. And the Great Western Stag. One day, Aethys was sitting on a wall, watching a cat play in the sun. A crystal hung in a nearby tree had fragmented a sunbeam and scattered small motes of light on the ground. They danced around the cat, sliding over him as he frantically batted at them. He spun in place, following one as it rushed past him, and leaped on it, trying to pin it down. Aethys smiled, amused at the animal's tenacity. The cat landed on a spot, placing his paws over it only to watch it flit away again. Aethys watched the cat's tail twitch and slap at the ground, annoyed that his prey could not be pinned. "Why must you tease him?" a voice said from behind him, accompanied by the crunch of sandals on gravel. "I merely bring the dawn," Aethys responded. "I don't stoke the hunter's heart. That's your responsibility, isn't it?" "True," said a second voice, "but neither do you quell it. If the hunter could not see his prey, would he still hunt?" "So philosophical, Hylia," Aethys said, and turned to greet the two gods that approached him. "Have you come to debate the parallel between sight and desire?" He gestured to the wall, inviting Hylia and Galawain to join him. They sat in silence, watching the cat, who continued to hunt the sun, fruitlessly swatting at another mote and then rolling onto his back. "I have created the ultimate prey," Aethys said, finally breaking the silence. "It can be tracked, it can be followed, it can be seen, but it can never be caught." Galawain laughed lightly. "You don't agree, Galawain?" Aethys asked. While it's true your creation is elusive, it hardly can be considered the ultimate prey because it never can be caught." He paused, his brow furrowed in thought. "If that mote of light had substance, the hunter could subdue it. Otherwise, it's merely a dream, truly a fruitless endeavor." "All creatures spend their lives chasing fruitless endeavors," said Helia. It is the way of mortality." Galawain laughed again. "I could create a creature, a living creature of flesh and blood, that could never be caught. I could make your dream a reality." Now it was Aethys' turn to laugh. "You propose turning a fruitless dream into a fruitless reality. How's this any better? A life spent in the pursuit of an attainable goal far exceeds any other." "But you just said no one could catch this creature. This is not attainable." Galawain smiled. "Humanity has surprised us before. Indeed, it could surprise us again. I will create a great white stag, and I will set it free in the world. It will have grace, resilience, and tenacity. It will exist solely to be pursued for all its days, and it will never be caught. It will serve to inspire the hunt for generations to come. All those who wish for glory will invoke my name. All those who hear its story will ask for my blessing in finding it." Helia shook her head and threw Galawain a bemused look. "I do not believe this is possible, so I, too, make an offer. To the person who catches this stag, and they will catch the stag, I will bestow upon them its grace, resilience, and tenacity. Thrice blessed they will be. They will ask for my blessing on the hunt, so they can obtain my boon." Galawain and Helia took up arguing whose name would be invoked more when the hunt was on. Aethys sighed, a small smile playing at the edges of his mouth. He stood and looked to the sky. The sun had already started to hide itself behind the mountains. The cat, long ago tired of stalking the motes, had fallen asleep beneath the tree. He turned and looked at the other gods, deep in debate, and sighed again. "I merely bring the dawn," he repeated as he made his way down the path. "It is up to you to see what I reveal." Huh. Still also very in line with Aethys' modus operandi, right? Revolving around the Saints' War and now currently looking to obliterate the wheel, right? Aethys only wants to move things forward but doesn't really want to give meaning to it or whatever in a way. Maybe meaning isn't the right word, but like in this case, Aethys kind of just wants to make something big and important happen and see how people react to it, right? In this case, it's, attempting to free people from under the thumb of the other gods. But at the same time, that lack of direction, when you could offer some direction, is that apathy charitable? Is that actually a good thing? To, when you are in that place of power, to not fully exert your power to help them, to only nudge people along in a direction, right? Especially, like, you acknowledge that these people are in need of help or something or whatever, and then you don't help them, you simply just nudge them and see what they do on their own. I don't know. It seems kind of fucked up, right?
Yeah.
It seems kind of fucked up.
Sure.
All right, let's look over here.
Gav,
But maybe it really just depends on your reading of it.
look.
The sun and chalice crest is the only decoration remaining on this rusted on this rusted-through Darkotsi Palladini breastplate. And Darkotsi is... The Darkotsi family was the royal lineage of Grand Valia. The Darkotsi Palladini were founded to guard the crown family and its palace circa 800 AI. Though both Palladini and family were scattered during the collapse of Grand Valia, even 2 centuries later, each still persist to a less sovereign but impressively affluent means. Right. Okay, and we got a big super spore up top. Okay. And we already came through this room, right? Yeah, we saw this freaky thing in here. And we were fine for the most part. Down here, God. What terrifying lurching noise. And there's the writhing tentacles. We haven't gone down there yet. Okay, let's go up these steps, right? Let's check all of this out. Let's do a quick save here. Good, good, good. And let's do it.
Trouble up ahead.
Here we are, we'll wait, and then have a dare break stealth first. Good. Okay. And then let's have everyone get their summons out immediately. Here we are. Wonderful. And let's see, Aloth, you do the same. Over here. Good. And let's see, I will fire into this luminescent spore here. Good. Let's swap again here. I'll also move over to around this area. Oh shit, can I not move? Am I like rooted or something? I guess I am.
Can't make a dent.
Alright, that's fine. Oh shit, Librarian has shown up. Ready to rumble. Okay, let's try and get him on this. Oh shit, it got Adair CC'd. Okay, I see. Let's see, have Pallegina swap weapons and thwack Adair.
Quick, toss me something else.
Oh shit, she missed. That ain't great. Okay, let's try and make this huge and debuff everybody here. Let's try and not debuff Adair if we can help it. Alright, there we go. And then let's have Facina try and also do another debuff here. Make him a bit more susceptible to everything. Cool.
After
Let's swap our weapon set here, and let's fire back here, that way we can get some AoE action. Right. And then these things, try and knock them if you can. Blast them there. Let's see, hopefully they can reach. I'm not sure. There are a lot of summoned dudes here. Okay,
Let's do this.
so that's good.
Nice hit.
Alright,
Let's go.
swap back to this set. Good, and then we'll fire... Let's try and finish off this librarian right here, actually. They're quite low.
Just like
Can I get them? There you go. Okay. Adair is still crowd controlled. Oh, he's in a spore cloud. Oh. Okay. So can Pallegina not cleanse him? Because of that. Did I, like, accidentally respeckered and not have that ability? Did I, like, totally forget about that? Surely I did not. Oh my god, fingers crossed. I'm not, like, the biggest dumbass around. Let's see. Uh-oh. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. Uh-oh, what's it even called? Oh, shit. Yo, I may be the greatest dumbass ever alive. No, yeah. Okay, yeah, Aegis of Loyalty. Okay, it's because it's not technically charmed or whatever, it's the spore. Alright. Wild. Good thing we have like 1 million summons out at the moment, so we can kind of overcome this. Alright, come over here. With that. Let's swap to this set, and I'll move over here. And let's fire into that direction. Actually, I'll move up a bit. Ooh, shit, I got charmed. Okay. Let's see. It did say charmed that time.
Watch it.
There we go. It worked. Okay. Cool. Let's fire into that. Maybe it's because Adair is a tank, so it's just impossible for her to hit. Alright. Let's send these things up there. Great. Try and knock them. And let's try and go after the big spore right there as well. Cool. Okay. Up here, we can also cast Confusion. Why not?
Hey.
Just like
There we go. Nope, he's still CC'd. That ain't great. Okay. Let's see here. Fascina, would you like to throw some of this shit up in there? Why not? Let's try that on for size. And then we can also maybe blind them back here. Yeah, let's do that. Wonderful. Okay. Look, Adair is out of crowd control now. Thank goodness. Okay. Let's toss a big heal onto him, because he kind of needs it right now.
You like that? I don't think so.
Good. And let's swap back to this weapon set. Reactivate imbued ammunition. And let's fire into this luminescent spore, the big one. Good, good, good. Okay, these little weapons. We can knock over this sporling. And we can thwack this unit. Let's see, where is the other weapon at? Fuck, it's impossible to tell. Okay, there we go. Halogina, swap your target. Re-equip your flail as well so we can debuff. Good. Okay, and then back here, we could also launch like a Slicken if we wanted. That might be useful. Let's try that.
I think not.
This weapon's no
Go.
good to me.
And let's see, once again, Fascina. What should we have her do? Let's have her actually do the death ring. Why not? There we go. And then we can activate, how about this shit? We could have a... we'll opt out of the Rainbow Road. Let's do this enormous hex. Let's do that shit. It's so nice. Okay, Pallegina, toss a heal onto me. Do I have one yet? No, I do not. Put a big one on me, just in case. Why not?
Let's do this. Better try something
Good.
else.
I can't go.
Alright, wonderful. Let's see, Adair over here. Flip around and knock that Sporling. Good. And let's see, let's put a dot onto this one. Good. And let's have Aloth cast. How about... We could do this Draining Touch, right? Or we could... Let's see, do they have buffs active? They're storing magic. Okay. Maybe we try and do like a point-blank AoE Terrify. Right? Do we still have access to that, or did I spec out of it? I think I spec'd out of it. Yeah. Fair enough. We didn't use it too much. If anything, maybe we should activate this shit, right? There we are. Back here. Yeah, because their debuffs are no longer active. Let's throw it down back that way. Good.
This weapon's no good to me. You like that?
Okay, almost got that big fucking thing. Oh, shit. It CC'd me. Great. Swap weapons. Hit me. Good. And let's have Aloth summon another friend out over here.
After him.
All of our friends have gone.
There
There we go. Pallegina got me out of that shit. Let's summon some more friends there. Good. Adair also needs help. Let's actually belay that order and have Pallegina toss a heal onto Adair.
Take this. Can't make a dent.
There we go. Great. And let's fire into this luminescent spore. Holy shit. Will it ever die? There we go. It has died and it has almost killed Adair with it. Had like an explosion.
Better try something else.
Good. Okay. Let's make sure we're applying this shit here. Wonderful. Alright, this thing is terrified as hell. Good. But let's have Adair engage the terrified one. That way we can get disengages, right? There we are. Wonderful. And then over here, I'll fire into it. Should we go for the spore? Yeah, let's go for the spore first. At least on our ranged, right? Okay. Oh, we could also try and charm as what's-her-butt here. Should we try that? Maybe not. Let's see. What other abilities do we have available here? We could summon a shitload more dudes, though we've got both phantoms out at the moment. It's fine.
Let's do this.
Okay, there we go. Let's try... debuff their armor. That's actually Probably the best move right here. Good. And let's see. Let's have Aloth move in a bit so he's getting heals from Pelagina. There we go. Do a regular debuff on him. Good. Alright. Let's actually empower right here. Why not? We'll save that last one, just in case. And fire into the spore. Good. Let's make everyone swap targets. Wonderful. Does this thing have one of Adair's dots ticking? No, it does not. Let's apply that. Let's also have Pelagina toss a heal onto Adair. There we go.
Need something
Good.
stronger. Let's go.
Okay, dope. And let's see. Ooh, shit, I got my shit fucked up. Okay, let's see. Pelagina pull off there. Ooh, shit, can she? No, she really can't. Okay, now she should be able to. Okay, good thing I am, like, I'm fucked up, but I'm fucked up on the Phantom. Alright, there we go. Adair going to that big fucking thing. Wonderful. Alright. Cool. Whew. Jeez, everyone started auto-attacking me. Almost fucked me up in a major way. Alright, good. Fucking spores, huh? Really complicate things. Okay, yep, some more of the huge. Yoink all that stuff up. Let's enter stealth here. Okay, what's up in this room? Oh, look, it actually has a name. Book is the name of this room. Oh, because there's a book here. I almost didn't notice it. It just looked like a blue glow.
The trees of Air Glanfath possess souls as strong as any kith, and their entangled roots extend for miles.
Ooh, okay. More about Lengrath. Alright, so he'll probably just read this for us.
But dig beneath any of them. Follow those roots, and you'll see they don't end, but lead to a neighbor. They're many souls sharing one body.
Interesting, okay.
Why shouldn't willing kith be able to do the same?
So, what? Does Lengrath want to... Huh. So we know that Lengrath has, like, multi-bodies. But does Lengrath... Lengrath has, like, the opposite of that, right? In Lengrath's case, it's one soul sharing many bodies, right? But it sounds like Lengrath wanted the opposite of that. One body sharing many souls, which is what Aloth has. Huh. Man, I never thought about it like that, yeah. They're like inverses, aren't they? Aloth is one body with two souls inside. And Lengrath is one body that goes into multiple, or one soul that goes into multiple bodies. Huh. Okay. Weird. What's up with this? This twisted skull belonged to a novice transmutation wizard who died casting her first self-authored spell. The remainder of her skeleton was deemed too disturbing to display. Ugh. Okay. And what's in here? Oh my god, a fuck ton of books. Holy shit, like a million of them. Alright, let's do it. 10 Years of Dawn. This is what we'd heard about, right? No, this is a different 10-year period. Alright. 10 years I tilled the Vorless Leaf, and 10 years I told myself that living in St. Widewin's footsteps would bring me rebirth. Each dawn I'd pray that if thou art in darkness, he shall bring thee light, and each yet each night. Is that a typo, or is this just like phrasing that I don't understand? And each night would bring the same emptiness. For my decade of living as a simple dye farmer, all I have to show for it is a great deal of purple clothing. Aethys has not spoken to us since he appeared as St. Widewin. It was my hope that Aethys would claim me as his next vessel, but alas, the child of light remains silent. Every day I practice the ritual of banishing the shadows of the unfaithful, and every day I work my fields in solitude, without sign of Aethys returning. If thou art in darkness, he shall bring thee light, but how long must I remain lost in this long night of abandonment? Is this my punishment for keeping my faith a secret? Is Aethys hiding from me until I shout my reverence for all to hear? Surely, he must know that the Deerwoodens now hate him and his followers. My countrymen are quick to blame all that was terrible about the Saints' War on those of us still faithful to Aethys. Should they not be angry at the Read-athon soldiers? Do the Deerwoodens not realize that to dismiss the god of rebirth and redemption is to prevent all hope of healing? As I pen these words, I know that I must continue to till the dye-leaf. I will awake each day with hope. If thou art in darkness, he shall bring me light. Each day I will pray that the dawn stars visit me, just as they visited Saint Widwin in his field of Vorlis. It's lit up. Will they come to me as they came to Saint Widwin, as a man and two women, luminescent and perfect? I am told that they come to presage new times. I'm told many things, and I struggle to find the faith to believe it all. And yet, each morning, the sun rises in the eastern sky, and each morning Aethys illuminates my simple plot of land, casting away the shadows of the unfaithful in his golden gaze. I thank thee, Aethys, for all the springs I've had, and all that will come. I am in darkness. Please, bring me light. Very interesting, right? Aethys is very dismissive of people who call out to help, right? It seems wild because Aethys isn't even the only choice of god that you have to worship. Like, it feels like so many people would, and maybe they do. Maybe this is a recounting from someone who decided to stay faithful to Aethys. But in light of all the terrible shit that has gone down revolving around Aethys, you would think so many people would pull away from worshiping him, right? Especially when he doesn't answer back, and many others will in some way, or at least be interpreted as having answered, right? Fascinating stuff. Alright, what's next? Book of the Hunt. When my students ask to be taught the way of Galawain, I tell them they have already failed. Does one ask a deer to present itself as dinner? Of course not. One must outwit, outmaneuver, and overpower the deer if one dreams of venison. So it is with the Seeker God. To ask a question is weakness and idle indecision. To seek answers is to understand, and to become one with Galawain. Survival begins with the strength from within. Wow, this is Seeker Slayer? Survival? Yeah. Huh. Interesting, okay. But I only strike my students when they ask the second stupid question. For all of us begin young and weak. It is a point fact, and not one of shame, and a central tenet to Galawain's teachings. Perseverance and cleverness are prized by Galawain above brute force, a fact my young pups often forget. It is right and proper that the strong lead the weak, and it is equally proper that the strong be continually tested until the balance changes. Galawain celebrates the strength of the victor and the prowess of the well-fed predator. But above all, the clever hound celebrates the transformative nature of his strength. Galawain's greatest desire for us is that prey becomes predator. Mewling babes grow into strong hunters, and the lost find their own enlightenment. This philosophy is best exemplified by the rites of the Anam Fatha of Eir Glonfath. When one of the Glonfathan spiritual leaders is old and nearing death, it is customary to enter the woods and confront Galawain's herald. If the Seeker God finds that Anamfath's life, deeds, and soul worthy, the reward is a quick death, and his soul joins Galawain's pack. If deemed unworthy, the Anamfath is killed, his soul forced to find its own way to the next life, and his memory erased from the records of the tribe. Survival begins with strength from within, and weak leaders endanger the whole pack. This is Galawain at his purest. Even at the end of life, one must struggle for worthiness, for greatness, just as one must struggle every day to feed his pack. The Seeker God is easy to understand if one actively engages in the quest for knowledge, but his secrets are self-occluding to those who merely ask, desiring knowledge without the requisite hunt. My own flesh and blood once asked me, "Will learning to hunt please Galawain?" I told him yes, but added, "Galawain would prefer that you hunt to learn." Yeah, Galawain also, some of these are interesting ideas, right? Or useful ideas, I should say, but a lot of it also ties back into, oh my god, what is it? Like a lot of people take fucking concepts of Darwinism, maybe even Darwin themselves, I can't remember, but Darwinism into like shitty places, right? Where it's just used as like an excuse to be a complete dickhead to people. Alright. And which is why all of these concepts, like belonging to the gods and stuff, make it very useful because, like literally, you know, when it comes to religion and faith, interpretation is paramount, isn't it? Okay. Daily affirmations of focus and efficiency. Are each one of these going to be related to each god? Yeah, wow, totally. Abaddon. Okay, daily affirmations of focus and efficiency, not efficacy. 1. All errors can be reforged into lessons. Abaddon rebuilt himself from ruin. No setback is insurmountable, not even death itself, so long as the soul is dedicated to the task. I do like that Abaddon's book here is very, like, utilitarian. It's just a bullet point list of 9 things. 2. Work hard, work well. Abaddon demands only honest labor and forthright service. All errors can be reforged if your first intentions are pure. 3. All ignorance can be reforged into knowledge. Master your craft, excel at what you have been trusted to do. Do not offend your teacher by remaining a student forever. 4. Each generation must forge its successors. Teach your trade to all who are willing to learn, and in doing so, multiply the fruits of your knowledge. 5. All difficulties can be reforged into triumphs. Meet strife with humility and acceptance. Let adversity temper the ingot of your will, and you will never shatter. 6. Embrace your station. Fulfill the duties of your rank and meddle not in the affairs of your betters. All guilds fail at their weakest link. 7. All loss can be reforged into strength. Profitable work heals all emptiness. So long as you have the tools of your trade, you will always be able to forge wealth anew. 8. Value the works of others, and they will value your works in return. Share the harvest with the hungry, and your tools with the destitute. 9. All souls can be reforged into whatever we will. Hard work is not exclusive to life. Death is no time for complacency. Commit yourself to excellence in this cycle and the next. Right. Yeah, Abaddon is generally pretty cool, and like, yeah, you can recover from even your worst shit and all of that. You can always, like, become a better person. There's always opportunity for improvement and stuff. But also, that comes at the cost of, like, toward the end here, even in this list, right? It delves into some of the less savory bits of exceptionalism, right? Like, a person is only worth as much as they're able to produce, right? Okay. Let's see here. Excerpts from the Sermon of Struggle. Who is this? Magrin. Choice is a luxury we earn through peace. Struggle is our fundamental nature. Even when our war banners sit idle, mankind foments strife. Friends argue with fists. Lovers kindle jealousies. Merchants compete with lies. Wherever mankind goes, struggle follows. Magrin is goddess of fire and war, not bloodshed and conquest, though many in Raid Saris would tell it differently. How bitter they must be that Magrin's priests were able to destroy a god made manifest. How bitter indeed. We who worship Magrin are not addled barbarians or cloistered mystics. We are soldiers, armorers, watchmen, and bodyguards. Artisans of conflict and protectors of our families and flags. We do not salivate for battle. We view war as unwelcome, but struggle is our fundamental nature. We do not pray for strife, we pray for the wisdom to resolve it quickly. We do not wish for war, but when it inevitably must be fought, we find divine ecstasy in discipline, efficiency, and excellence. Magrin, guide us to the battle that is just and fair. Let us be your fire that burns away the profane, leaving only the righteous. If struggle is our fundamental nature, let victory be our inevitable state of grace. Right. Yeah, some of this, once again, that's like the common theme with all of it, right? It's very much up to personal interpretation, but some of this seems really, like, dope shit. Like, yeah, of course, don't be eager to get into a fight, but be ready to save yourself and your loved ones if it comes to it, to the best of your ability. But also, you could very easily see how this could so quickly devolve into just, like, fascist shit. Alright. Move this down over here. Final Journal of Jonas. Ah, scan. One of, I don't know. They're all very interesting, aren't they? All of the gods and goddesses? Is there one who's the least interesting? I'm not sure. I think it's because they all have the duality of interpretation in that it can be something positive and something shitty, right? That makes all of them compelling in some way. Final Journal of Jonas. My son. Tomorrow I become the effigy. We've read this one so many times, I think. Tomorrow I become Scan's embodiment on Aora. Tomorrow my master chokes on his own whip. For months we met by secret conclave to plot our landlord's demise, all the while working the fields as if our hearts were content. Scan teaches us to plot with the mind while keeping one's face impassive, inscrutable. Fair fights are for those with armies. The quiet slave is our whetstone, our focus. In his worship, our cause finds focus, clarity, and possibility. Tomorrow, my master chokes on his own whip. By the time you read this, I will be dead. I pray Scan does not abandon me for speaking of my plotting, but a son deserves to know how his father died, for I have volunteered to be the effigy. Scan will inhabit my body, using this old farmer's simple flesh as a puppet of godly rage. I've been shaved and anointed. Tomorrow morning I will be your father in name only, as my manhood will be removed, my nose and ears removed, and my useless mortal eyes will be replaced with flint stones through which Scan might see the world. My son, I'm sorry for the lies I've told you these past few seasons, but Scan demands secrecy. Even your mother knows nothing of my furtive service to the quiet slave. Curse my name if you must, but never weep for me, for I die for the betterment of our community, to smite our Lord's corruption from the face of Aora. Tomorrow my master chokes on his own whip, for tomorrow I become the effigy. Right, yeah, and we've talked about how Scan is, for the most part, a lot of really good ideals of, like, people rising up against shitty people in places of power, but it's done in, like, the most fucked up, twisted way you could possibly imagine. Right? Which I guess is kind of necessary, because a lot of Scan's positives are some of the most positive things I think that we've read, right? Or at least some of the most altruistic. So it, in turn, in order to make it seem to have that duality of there being potential shitty parts of the god, you have to make it the shitty parts extremely shitty. Missives of the Hand Occult. Wall. Very topical for this DLC, right? Dearest brother, or was it sister, may this letter find you in well spirits. A man of thuggish bearings stormed into my library the other day and demanded I help him find a book on the construction of an arquebus. I thought it proper service to Wall to steer the man toward an illuminated manuscript on the subject of whittling toy soldiers and other miniature props. Unamused by my solution, I shrugged and said, "What is an answer without a question?" He did not find my spiritual rhetoric helpful or amusing, and so he punched out 2 of my teeth. I trust your summer has been less tumultuous than mine. In more important news, my apprentice claims she saw the eyeless face in a dream the other night. I admit I was so mad with envy that at first I refused to believe her. Wall forgive me for such a lapse of judgment. She described an Almawa brilliant blue hues with a featureless face surrounded by a swarm of eyes. No 2 eyes alike. She claims Wall ignored her questions, and she can't recall any specifics of what was said. In fact, my apprentice seems to have forgotten many things since before the visitation. She could not tell me where she grew up or what she liked to eat. At first, I was so envious of her for having seen Wall with her own eyes, but it seems Wall's visit was to conceal, not to illuminate. I pray she endures this test of faith and can look back at the event and feel the joy of mystery. What is an answer without a question? Last week, I felt the solution was ignorance, but after Wall's visit, I feel a road without length is closer to capturing the riddle. I worry my apprentice will look back at her visit from Wall and feel cheated, robbed of some moment of clarity we all thought we were owed when we first joined. I tried to tell her she was lucky, but she was too young to understand. What is an answer without a question? May I be dead and my soul scattered to the winds before anyone knows for certain. And I don't really know if I understand the duality of Wall, right? Is it that Wall knows, like, a shitload of interesting stuff, but decides to just hide it away when it could be useful? Is that the idea? Is that the duality present here? Wall is, in and of itself, a mystery, with no consistent form or gender. Its followers revel in the acts of creating and unraveling mysteries. Yeah, Wall is pretty mysterious for sure. Alright. Selected correspondences of Giftbringer Aiden. Andra, right? Yeah. Which we're quite familiar with Andra's everything. Sing, O ocean waves of Andra's sorrow, of her unrequited love for the unattainable moon. Sing of the ocean's sorrow so that we may forget our own. Each day the tides reenact Andra's longing for the great moon. The waters reach out at high tide, yearning for the heavenly body, only to slump into low tide when the moon proves unattainable. You asked me once why I loved Andra so dearly, how I could go from a life on dry land to being a devotee to the goddess of the oceans. I sing of the ocean's sorrow so that I may forget my own. It is Andra's message that speaks to my heart. I have devoted my life to helping others discard painful memories, for that is the gift Andra gave me. When I lost my young daughter, my wife and I were inconsolable until a gift-bearer offered to take my toddler's toys and cast them into the deepest waters. Truth be told, I and the other gift-bearers I know have never even spoken to Andra. She is largely silent, and when she does speak, she uses floods and tidal waves instead of words. But we sing of the ocean's sorrow, so that others may forget theirs. Andra's story, the story of victory over the story of desire unanswered, actually matters to people like you and me. Mogren cannot steer you to victory over sadness. Helia cannot force joy down a crying throat. Only Andra can give us the strength to persevere when life seems without worth. And that is the answer to your question regarding why I love my goddess so dearly. Huh. I feel like Andra's is very inherent in forgetfulness, right? Like Andra's duality. Goddess of forgotten things, loss, relentlessness, and mourning. Said to have once fallen in love with the moon, and to have tried to draw it near with catastrophic consequences. People bring tokens to her temples of things they wish to forget, and her clergy sees the tokens cast into the sea. Right. Yeah. I think her duality is just drawn out of just the inherent duality of forgetting things. In that sometimes forgetting something can be a boon, but sometimes it can be fucking awful, right? The enigmatic god of cold. Yeah, we just had a run-in with Rimmergond not too long ago, right? Young students are often confused by Barath and Rimmergond's seemingly overlapping roles in holding dominion over death. Barath oversees the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Rimmergond oversees the cold, destructive act of death itself. This difference is often difficult for novices to appreciate, until they've lost a loved one and endured the absence for a time. It is Barath that determines we will be reborn, just as certainly as we will die. But Rimmergond is the executioner's axe. Rimmergond shows us that all life ends in stillness. I need only show them the symbol of Rimmergond, the bone-white aurochs skull found carved within the most ancient of Ingwithan ruins. It is a symbol of death and doom in every culture. Any child with 4 winters under his belt needs no introduction to the ancient symbol. Rimmergond embodies not just death, but all manifestations of collapse, be they famine, plague, or simple bad luck. Rimmergond is a primal god, silent and inscrutable as death itself. He makes himself known with his passing, not by proclamation. There are innumerable stories of the god's terrifying passage through the lands of Aora. When the beast of winter stirs, bitter winds and beastly howling follow the creature's every move. Wherever the beast plants a hoof, all life withers into dust. The faithful of Rimmergond insist that even another god's life can end in stillness. They claim the other gods must flee from the beast of winter's mastery over death. But we know not if this boast holds true. Though the beast of winter is shrouded in snowy clouds, those who have seen the shaggy white monster claim that the souls of the fallen can be seen clinging, or perhaps frozen, to the beast's fur. The dwarves of the boreal south have numerous stories that tell a similar plot. A brash hero seeks out the beast of winter to rescue the souls trapped in its fur. These tales never end well, for even if the hero saves his beloved soul, the hero dies in the process. For it is not a proper tale of Rimmergond unless the hero's life ends in stillness. What is the duality that makes Rimmergond compelling? Oh, right, yeah. Of course, because some people do welcome death, right? Isn't that the idea? As we saw, it was played for laughs in The Beast of Winter, but that's the... Rimmergond is more openly, seemingly, like a shitty god that has dominion over horrific shit. But The Beast of Winter was quick to remind us, but that sometimes there is a point where someone would want to die rather than have lived through something so fucked up. Interesting. But like I said, yeah, they played it for laughs in the opening there. Interesting. Certainly, though, it still does seem pretty grim. Right? Okay. The Many Faces of Barath. How fitting that we know the god of cycles, doorways, mortality, and inevitability as Barath, while the Valians know this very same god as Cyrano. For if nothing else, Barath teaches us that duality exists in all things. There is life in death, and death in life. Embrace this duality and you honor Barath. And right, of course, Barath is probably the most obvious for having some aspect of duality, right? The life and death. In the ruins of Glonfoth, Barath is depicted in the form of 2 semi-skeletal figures. one male, one female. Bunin e Aknu and Aknin e Bunin. Literally life in death and death in life in the Glonfathan tongue. Male and female, inside and outside, life and death. We often think of Barath by imagining two sides of coin, or the two endpoints of a journey. It is said that Barath has the most petitioners of every god, and this is likely true. And this likely true, who amongst us has not prayed for the cycle to hiccup, right, the wheel? Who has not, in a moment of sadness, yelled at Barath to make an exception for our fallen loved ones? Barath may not rescue our loved ones, but it answers our prayers in its own divine way. Barath is the god that makes life end in death, and it is also the god that makes death end in life. Barath, Sirono, Bunin, e Aknu, Aknu e Bunin, whichever of the many names you prefer to use, deserves our prayers, for it has given us the promise of life's eternal renewal. The Midwife's Memoirs. Who is this? Oh, Helia. And I guess the last one will be Wotica. Yeah. My mother lived every note of life's song. Bringing me into this world was her last verse. For this, my father scorned me and abandoned me. And for this very same fact, my town's midwife and adherent of Helia raised me as her own. When I came of age, I learned that Helia visits us on the screams of women in childbirth. And when a woman dies giving birth to her child, her soul is carried away and reborn as an avian attendant of Helia's court. Through the miracle of the Queen of Birds, my mother has been with me, watching over me my whole life. I wear the fetish charms of the Cloud Singer, the bird I dreamt my mother became. My feathery trinkets look gaudy and unbecoming, but it is a signal fire to women in need that I am a trained midwife. Blessed by Helia and living every note of life's song, the Queen of Birds wills us to shepherd new life into the world, and not, as the other gods so often desire, to end it. A follower of Magran once mocked my faith, saying I worshipped paintbrushes and birds, piddling things beneath the gods. I do not resent the other gods and the brutal necessities that they must oversee. But is not language, love, the arts, and creativity that which separates us from simple beasts? Helia allows us to rise above our savage, feral selves. Is that the duality of Helia? Is that Helia is... Helia is probably the most kind of all of them, right? Like, if Rimmergond is the one that seems the most fucked up and grim, and it's difficult to derive some sort of compelling duality out of Rimmergond, is Helia the inverse of that, in that it's difficult to derive some sort of compelling way that Helia is fucked up? Is the way Helia is fucked up is that Helia is prone to, like, being pretentious or something? Like, pulling out pretentious, like, holier-than-thou feeling? I'm not sure. I'm often amused that upon seeing our holy aviaries, visitors frequently ask, "This is nice, but where is the real Temple of Helia?" Perhaps they think hallowed ground requires oppressive stoneworks and ceilings that hide the sky. They do not realize the Bird Queen stands not on ceremony. She makes herself manifest in the music of birds and in beauty of the ubiquitous open sky. Helia prefers the worship of 2 children singing over 1,000 petitioners silently praying for victory. The Sky Mother asks so little of us, and yet so much. We are charged to live every note of life's song. It surprises me how many fail to embrace this divine calling. Interesting. Goddess of the sky, maternity, creativity, birds, song, invention, language, and the arts. Not known to take a particular physical form, but thought to be present in birds of all kinds. Weird. I feel like maybe we don't quite yet know Helia's dark secret, so to speak, right? Certainly Helia is spying on us by way of Maya's bird pet. Oh my god, what's the name of the bird? Ishizu, yeah. Alright, and the last one. Felt like we needed to read them all at once. The queen that was and still is. Probably the most fucking heavy metal. Well, I don't know. Do you think Boudica is like the most hard-ass of all of them? I'm not sure. Maybe. I would say so. Though I could see some arguments for others, right? Alright. Dear sisters, do you remember your first deliverance? When you strangled your first wrongdoer? Did you see the moment when life became death? Could you see the instance when your victim realized that Boudica forgets nothing? When Boudica takes back her throne, you will face her with pride, knowing you have held your own oaths. Or will you be amongst the word breakers? And this also definitely, Boudica plays a big role in Avowed, right? Like, not just, of course, even the name itself rings of Boudican influence, right? Boudica teaches vengeance and memory. And while she is in exile, we must be her eyes and ears that let no injustice slip from record. We must be the clenched fist that silences the lying breath. When Boudica takes back her throne, all of the injustices that have slipped through the cracks of history will be righted. The villains hiding in plain sight amongst the innocent will feel the burned queen's choking grasp. Pray that you live to see the day when you will join our queen in this cleansing of the wicked. But know, my sisters, that we must be ready to see the end of our days without the return of our queen, for she will take back her throne. But it may be our daughters that serve the restored court. We must continue to live as we have always lived, hated by the other faiths, even though we place justice above our own well-being. At least the Empire of Adir still holds our creed in proper esteem. It is a proper sign of respect that, by imperial custom, our clergy must oversee a contract for it to be legally binding. For who else understands the value of remembering one oaths than Boudica's faithful? And let us not count our current blessings, for we still enjoy the support of the Paladin Order of the Steel Garret. They, too, understand that society is built and broken by the oaths and rules of its people. When Boudica takes back her throne, my family will know that I was right to commit my life to the exiled queen. When Boudica takes back her throne, the Strangler will stop being a story told to frighten our daughters, but a hero woven into parables that teach our children justice. When Boudica takes back her throne, she will bring her flawless memory with her. Every transgression, every crime, every injustice will be revealed. When Boudica takes back her throne, even gods won't be spared their due retribution. Fuck. Yeah, she's gotta be the most fucking heavy metal of all of them, right? Holy shit. Alright. Yeah, when next we come back, more fucking reading. Good lord. A lot of reading. But like I said, I don't know. I really enjoyed just reading about all the lore and stuff here. It's been pretty enjoyable. For me, at least. Alright. Until next time, please, take care of each other.